Welcome to the next episode of the Doomslayer saga, and boy is the Doomslayer going to have some very interesting moments in this universe, because he is going through 7 deadly sins. And knowing how the Doomslayer interacts with anything to do with demons, Meliodas is going to have a bit of a problem trying to convince him not to just take him out anyway. The sins, at the very least, are going to have a nightmare trying to convince the Doomslayer not to mess with Meliodas. And it would be even worse if the Doomslayer's first interactions in this world are from the Holy Knights. Because if this takes place before the sins were basically forgiven and revealed to not actually be the cause of the king's death, then there's going to be even less of a chance for the Doomslayer to listen to them. And if that happens, the sins could work together or not. Even if it's like their strongest iterations, they're screwed. They're just royally screwed. But hey, let's not be such downers. Let's make this hypothetical where they could somehow convince him that Meliodas is a good demon. He's not going to harm anybody like the demons from his world. But then the commandments come in, and that's going to be the first uh-oh for them, because those are some demons the Doomslayer can have free reign to rip and tear. And although their abilities are definitely going to be interesting, definitely enough that the Doomslayer might give them some notice. Like, that's some interesting ability. Now, he's definitely not going to say this out loud, but he'll think it. None of them should be much of a challenge, except maybe Esterosa, because his whole commandment is if you show hatred, you're incapable of fighting. Now, that's assuming you think it would even be strong enough to work on somebody like the Doomslayer. Because unlike with Escanor, who does not show hatred towards Esterosa and people weaker than him, the Doomslayer just has a visceral hatred towards demons as a whole. So, ignoring scaling, because I don't like just counting stuff out due to scaling reasons, that might be an issue for the Doomslayer. They might have to still rely on Escanor, because I'm not sure if the Doomslayer could put his hatred aside long enough, or even fight without his anger inhibiting him. And next thing, if Meliodas has his memory mess up again, where pretty much that situation where he had to fight up against Escanor, I don't think Escanor is going to get the chance to jump in. Doomslayer's probably going to have been waiting for the chance to fight Meliodas. And assault form or not, Doomslayer is going to bully this man. Even if for some reason he isn't going to try and kill Meliodas here, he is going to humble this man in every conceivable manner possible. And I think he might even go as far to not even bother using his weapons, just straight up beating him. And on the topic of the Demon King, if we get to where there is a Demon King Meliodas, like what the Sins had to fight up against, again, it could be a 1v1 with the Doomslayer, and it is going to be an insane fight to watch. Think of full power Escanor when he's like using his life force in exchange for extra power, where he was dominating the Demon Lord. Well, Demon King, I don't know why I said Demon Lord all of a sudden. But imagine that, but even more one-sided. And in terms of how this could change the story, I think the story could wildly change depending on who his first interaction with is in this universe. If he meets Meliodas first, and gets to know him as a person, way before he ends up finding out about him being a demon, then maybe once it was eventually revealed that he was in fact a demon, sure, I think he would definitely see Meliodas differently, but there might be a chance he doesn't try to kill Meliodas. Now, if his very first interactions are the Season 1 iterations of the Holy Knights, then the Sins are screwed, because their ideals are gonna kinda line up. The Doomslayer wants to take down demons, and he's going to encounter Holy Knights. And especially ones that are going to just be feeding him the rhetoric that the sins are evil. They have slaughtered the king. They are unforgivable monsters. Doomslayer, after hearing that, would not be able to have his mind changed. At least not anywhere near fast enough before he has already started a fight with them when he does find them. And by the time they would have the chance to try and explain themselves, they are already going to be doomed. No pun intended.